Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Happy Thursday and welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of Peacemaker. I saw the first half, but I did not see the second half. So I'll as we get towards the middle of the show, we will all be watching it for the first time. For those of you who haven't already watched it at 6 o'clock, I will say, even though I enjoyed the first episode of season 2, I am not on board with this release strategy. I do not like watching shows like this on Thursday in the middle of the week. I do not like that. HBO has established Sunday as a special time for special shows. Why would you run season 1 on Sunday and then do this? This is kind of dumb. But hey, here we are. We will be watching this on HBO Max. I'm not doing the Twitch stream simply because almost everybody, I haven't ran into any of my people enough people that don't have some version of HBO Max that they can't watch it on their own. By the way, in the chat, guys, since this is a watch along and there will be new viewers watching this later on, please keep it topical to what we're watching. I will, after we're done and we get past the discussion, I'll answer off-brand questions. But if it's not about Peacemaker season 2, episode 2, I'm not going to bring it up in the chat until later on, if at all, because I'm going to try to keep it focused. And for those people who are watching along with us, all that abstract stuff is not going to really help them. So, all right, let me bring in, if you are a Patreon, the link is in the Patreon right now. If you want to watch, some of you have been sent links elsewhere. And then Brad should be on his way any minute. That's the kind of weather we got. We got sprinkles and like showers and shit out here. I'll be glad when this fucking monsoon is over with. I'm just not a big fan about any of this shit. So, but it is August 28th. We are days away from September. Days away from September. Beginning my favorite 2 months of the year. Woohoo! And
yeah, the nuclear blast isn't hitting as hard.
Yeah. And like I said, I am looking forward. I'm already starting to see the Christmas stuff show up in places. Halloween boxes sitting right next to the Christmas decorations. So I'm ready. I'm ready to be past summer.
Selfie with the elf.
I don't think we're getting that creepy motherfucker. Hello, glow in the dark Arstellian. How you doing?
Hello.
All right, guys. I'm just gonna go ahead and get into it. Like, subscribe, share. But like I said, keep the topics. I will bring up stuff in the chat periodically, but please keep it limited to what we're watching. All right, on the count of 5, I've skipped the pre stuff, and I'm at the stupid Worlds Collide thing. So that's where we're at. We are at 50-52, where I'm going to start. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to skip the recap, and we're going. So now we're at 49:30.
Did you see the preview for the next Alien Earth?
Yes. All right, DC Studios logo. Here we go.
Hey, Lou.
Oh, hey, we're joined by a Brad.
Oh. You already started the episode?
Yeah.
Okay, well, what's the timestamp?
Hold on. 3:46.
Okay.
This was one of the things that I was looking for in, like, not when Creature Commandos, because that would have been the immediate thing out right after, but there's no way he was going to get through this series without going through.
You know, I actually watched the first episode of the series. I haven't really watched this series at all, but it made me chuckle when the eagle hugged him.
I can't get this fucking song out of my head now. And the video is even weirder. For those of you who don't know, it's a band called Sexy Shazam, and this song's about 15 years old. You didn't heard of The Last Ronin? Wow. Dude, when it came out, it was selling out everywhere. I couldn't keep it on the shelf. And none of my contemporaries here in Vegas could either.
I'm not muted now, right?
No, you're not muted. I can hear you.
Okay.
You don't think The Last Ronin should happen? I don't think the previous Turtle movie should happen. I'm so glad that this. I would be so happy when this 35th anniversary of that movie is over with and it wears off of people's brains, because I'm not big fan of that. So I guess we were on two different odds of the spectrum there. All right. After get done with the credits, and we'll go back to just exclusively Peacemaker questions.
By the way, who's that Willie Nelson looking dude? Dancing with
What do you mean?
the guy with the gray hair and the braids.
Oh, that is what's his face? It's Mary Poppins.
That's
Michael
Dick Van
Rooker.
Dyke?
That's Michael Rooker. Yeah.
Oh no, it's Michael Rooker. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I thought he's Dick Van Dyke.
He's
Okay.
Eagly.
Well, but I mean, okay, is he playing Willie Nelson? Peacemaker or what? I mean, he's dead ringer.
All he needs is some weed. I think weed has added like 30 years on to Willie Nelson's life, dude.
I find it very helpful. Erin has that serious look on her face.
I'm wondering where he's going to put the body.
He's got like an entire dimension. And he chooses.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not going to fit in the cupboard under there, apparently.
Like they'll never find it there. But most of those guys won't even know to go look because, like I said, I think this dimensional thing is a new thing.
Well, I mean, they'll know. I mean, they won't necessarily know he put it there, but
Well, no, they may not know to go into that dimension any further than they're used to.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, this wasn't here last time. Something happened and created these dimensions.
Yeah, something happened, and apparently, whatever happened, it happened in a flash.
Possibly, but that's a guess. That's my guess, at least. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm sorry, Droga, if you read all that kids shit that you call Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but maybe Last Ronin's a little bit too adult for you. I don't know. Peacemaker was not really. He was more of a like a guest type of character. I mean, hell, Vigilante had its own series, but for the most part, no.
That is a shiner if ever I've seen one.
Or a lady there thinks she's in an abusive relationship.
Well, I mean, it's hard not to draw that conclusion. You look at her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that, or she's like she's like a government operative who's getting into bar fights. Don't have all the information.
That's cool. Beaker. Depending on who is writing Peacemaker, yeah, he was a dumbass, but other writers wrote him as serious, but it's like 50-50. Vigilante was just a standard, run-of-the-mill vigilante. His actual end of his story is kind of tragic. I'm wondering if they'll bring it over to here. Or I think what I might end up seeing here is because he's asking, well, is there a vigilante over there? One of these universes, he probably ends up the way he did in the comic. Now, this character that they're introducing is a little bit over the top. And here's an instance where I think the jokes are too much.
To answer your question, Antonio, parents should read the freaking warning labels before they let their kids watch something. And from what little I've watched of Peacemaker, this ain't a kid show. Because as William says, the parents have the control of the magic device that William invented called the remote.
Yeah, and there's a section on HBO Max to where you can, as the subscriber, you can control each profile. So I can set up a profile for my kid or whatever, and I can set up the parameters. Then there's one where you can set up a children's one and give them that one, and they can't get into anything like that. And then you can find out when somebody's trying to log out or log in. So there's
I kind of would like to see, actually, now that we saw the first episode, now we're pretty good amount into this. Did you ever see that? You see the like the PG version of Freddy Got Fingered? I kind of wonder whether like a PG version
Did
of
you
this
just
would look like.
seriously ask me that? Did
Yes,
you seriously ask me if I saw that?
Have we seriously done watch parties of scary
Have you
movies?
serious? But you were asking me if I have ever seen.
Yeah.
Now we haven't done Freddy Got Fingered,
Yeah.
and on my own, what are the odds of me ever fucking seeing?
Well, had you seen the scary movies before we did the watch party?
Without this platform, outside of this platform, what are the odds you ever seen?
Did you see any of the scary movies before we watched here?
No.
Then I have plausible reason to think you may have done that.
Okay.
And again, it's just a hypothetical. It's
By the way,
hypothetical. It's like, what would you have to do? Like, how much would you have to take out to like make this kid friendly?
You'd have to eliminate the show, and there's some scenes coming up. Oh, everybody probably seen them.
Well, you saw the aftermath of the orgy right there.
Yeah, this guy's annoying. I'm not really, and I like this actor, but it's just this role is a little bit over the top for me, even for Peacemaker.
Supposedly that eagle is very famous. It's been in several commercials and other TV and movies.
Well, I'm kind of wondering, are we going to hear like the John Ashcroft let the eagle soar on the show at any point in the eagle drop? I would have put it past him.
This is really the bird blindness thing. Stupid kid.
That's not a at that point. Funny how Guns to Superman released digitally to coincide Peacemaker and 50% of Superman's audience can't even watch it. I mean, he's not wrong.
Well, if your object is to make money, that's the way you do it. And that's what all these comic books / movies and everything, they're all designed to make money.
Well, comic books in general were never really. I mean, outside of their inception in like the 40s and 50s, your general media and audience was 14 and up, if that young.
When I was a kid, my parents always bought me Fantastic Four comic books, and I was kind of like, eh. If I'm not mistaken, the ratings for the PGA whatever ratings, whatever it is pretty clear on this series.
Well, this is it's TVMA. So TVMA is broad. And once you do TVMA, you put down the categories so that parents know exactly what's in.
I know on Disney, TVMA is like the highest level setting on Disney Plus.
I'm surprised this is not R-rated released.
No, it's beyond R rated. TVMA gives you broad to do anything you want.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm using the Australian category.
Yeah, according to Disney Plus, TVMA is the highest level. You basically can watch everything with TVMA.
Uh-oh, I think he wants to play a game with that hacksaw. I want to play a game.
Are we watching Peacemaker or Dexter?
It's not going to matter whether they read the labels or not. If you're a parent and you have this, you have the codes and controls of the subscription. Unless you allowed your kid to have their own HBO Max subscription, and then I guess you're not keeping an eye on them. And to be honest with you, I know people say comic books and comic book stories are for kids, but if you've been reading comic books for any good length of time, you understand that there's some deep stuff that goes in places that there's a wide range. So why wouldn't the comic book universe have a wide range? You're not going to have, if you started reading comics at a particular time, you're going to grow up. That what you read as an 8, 9, 10 maybe year old is not going to be for you at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So you really should have all quadrants covered. That's got to suck, dismembering yourself. I wonder what that thing is. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. So I have Batman. So I have Batman Adventures, which is basically a mock-up of the cartoon. But I also have DC Black Label Batman. One of them I'm going to sell to a kid. The other one I'm not. It's that simple. It's really easy actually. And Peacemaker has never been marketed to kids. And to be honest with you, unless I'm missing something, the DCU hasn't been marketed entirely for any particular demo. I don't know why people just assume that because there's Superman, that there won't be anything else that won't, that'll be suitable for adults. Is that his phone, or did he take that from the? I missed that part. Did he take that from the doppelganger? Let's go back and rewind that. Thank you. I missed that while I was answering that question. All right, I'm already tired of these agents and this one guy. Okay, but if they have access to Peacemaker, that's not DC's fault. That's the parents' fault. They're not marketing Peacemaker towards kids. Yeah, I heard a reference, Kia's reference to it. Well, that stitch is nasty. So what? That doesn't mean that Peacemaker. What was he doing in Peacemaker? He was doing a television interview. That doesn't, just because somebody guest stars in something doesn't mean that they're marketing it to that. If I, as an adult, am watching Superman, then I can have access to Peacemaker. That doesn't mean they're marketing Peacemaker to kids. Yeah, but once again, it's not being Peacemaker is not being marketed. Did you see any commercials in Superman for that? No, I mean, and like I said, if you guys can't handle it, if you have kids that have access to your HBO account, that's your fault. I mean, whose fault is that if your kids have access to a TVMA show? You guys do have the option not to watch it. Be honest with you, I'm tired of being insulted by comic book franchises that aim solely for kids. I'm a fucking grown man, so I can kind of appreciate where he's going with it. I'm gonna challenge the audience to be smarter than that. I don't think anybody's gonna be that dense. I don't think that Peacemaker, because when they go to search out Peacemaker to watch it, it's TVMA. I want to give the audience, especially the comic book reading audience and the comic watching audience, a little bit more credit than that. I don't know, but I think people think that everything is aimed towards one demographic. You can't make money that way. I mean,
Well, Marvel Studios did.
yeah. I mean, look how they do it, though.
Yeah, but they market it to one particular demographic.
What Marvel did, not really. Not
Yeah.
really. Not in MCU. But they don't have anything like Peacemaker either. What in the MCU is remotely close to the tone of Peacemaker?
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Not really.
You don't think Deadpool and Wolverine is R-rated as Peacemaker?
Well, first, neither one of those characters are MCU, so MCU proper. And Deadpool, what was Deadpool and Wolverine rated? What was it rated?
R.
Thanks. There you
There's
go.
no way it wasn't rated R.
Yeah, that's an R-rated movie. So when you rate a movie R, you're marketing towards it's all there.
Yeah, but I remember the original Deadpool. Like I seen parents like
That's not
kids as
MCU.
young
Though.
as like
We're
7
talking.
in there.
She asked me MCU. Deadpool at that time is not MCU. So MCU wasn't marketing Deadpool for shit. Fox was, and Fox
By
didn't
the
have
time
any
it's
other
Deadpool and
names.
Wolverine, that's absolutely. I mean, even if it's not MCU proper, it's still Marvel Studios.
Okay, but it's an R-rated movie.
Yeah, it's
You're-
an R-rated movie
guys
that they
just
brought
answered
kids
your-
to.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
It's an R-rated movie. If you take your fucking kid to an R-rated movie, you know what you're doing. When my old man took me to an R-rated movie, you know that's on the parents though. Don't blame that on the studio. Studio makes the content. They don't parent. You want Kevin Feige raising your kids and deciding what they see, or do you want the parents deciding what they see? That's on them. He doesn't have any alarms, by the way. Just let people walk in. Once again, they're not. The kids aren't the ones making the decisions. The parents are. That was Batman the Damned, and as a kid, you could not buy that comic. I would not sell that comic to you as as anything under 18.
The bird is attacking
Oh,
him in the face.
We just got some alien
Why
Earth
is he
stuff
doing with
there.
the eye? Why does everybody want to fuck with the eyes in these shows? Ah, damn, Eagly.
And they're right the same week as Alien
Well, I
Earth.
guess he doesn't need an alarm because he's at the fucking bird. In the bird. Oh my god.
Remind me
Oh
of
my
the
god.
magpies. Out
Well,
here in
see,
Australia.
my only thing with it, the whole like R-rated, like is like following the stuff after
What do
Superman.
you hold on?
kid
Repeat
friendly.
what you said.
My only
after
thing
you
is
said
like I just better never hear the argument about you can't like do Batman or Superman this dark or this violent ever again.
Okay, I can't. Did you mute yourself or did you turn yourself down?
No. Okay, you hear me now?
Hold on. Let me turn this down.
You might just have the
All right, what's up now?
See, my only thing is like I just better never after this. It's like my only thing with that is okay. Don't tell me then if people are and that's not you specifically, but if people are saying okay, we can follow up Superman with something like Peacemaker and that kind of like divergence and in the age demographic.
Well, you that was
appropriateness.
bullshit. You stop listening to
I
fucking
agree
stupid
with
people.
I agree with bullshit, but it
Stop
better
listening
now
to stupid
the
people.
bullshit better be locked and sealed henceforth now.
It was stupid when they said it. So why do you reference it?
I never fail to bring up hypocrisy.
Dude, it was stupid then. It doesn't.
Yes,
I mean,
I agree. So I'm going to point out it was stupid then. If we're saying
I don't
it's
even
okay
need to
now.
bring it up. There is no such thing.
The world
as a
didn't
sex-
change in
there's
10
no-
years enough for
There's
it to
no
not have been
kiddie
stupid then.
universe. There's no kiddie universe where everything is for kids. This doesn't exist. It never exists. Not when you talking about comic books. Not if you're doing it right. And if you notice what MCU has done, first of all, you Punisher, TVMA, all their stuff is segment TVA, and you can have parental controls. Also, they don't take their fans as being kids forever. If you started watching the MCU in 2008 as maybe a 10-year-old, you're a grown-ass man or woman right now. Am I going to still treat you like a kid? No.
Yeah, but the point is, I better never hear that argument again now.
I never took it seriously then. Why did you?
I didn't take it either, but it was inescapable.
A lot of stupidity is.
Fort says, "Oh, all it needed was an orgy." Yeah, yeah, maybe that's what was missing. Like, again, that's all I'm saying. It's like if this is not me passing any judgment. If you're like,
yeah, but you're giving people oxygen that were full of shit to begin with. Who the fuck cares what they said? And
dude, I will point out hypocrisy when I see it.
You're wasting your breath on people who are
the fuck. I'm not
meaningless people. You're like a battery to people. You're like, wow, you ran out of steam. Here, let me give you a battery to keep that bullshit going.
I want someone to defend this with a straight face now.
Why?
Because I want to hear it. Because I want to fucking hear it.
That's an ego thing, man.
Ego my ass. I want to hear it. I demand to hear it. I will hear it.
Somebody should have brought like all stack of pizzas or a bucket of chicken or something.
Yeah.
You're not writing the DCU. You don't know what is. We got what crumbs of the DCU, and you're going to pass some judgment on the DCU. Why don't you just watch it and see how it rolls out? Then you deal with the content. But once again, there doesn't need to be. We're not fucking 10-year-olds. I don't need a kiddie consistent tone. If you want to make some shit for the kids, make some shit for the kids. I'm a grown fucking man. If you want me in on this DCU, you cannot treat me like a kid. So go ahead and make
I agree.
Shit for all four corners.
That was the mindset.
I don't give a fuck about the past. I give a fuck about 1221, 829.
I will bring it up until I get the answer I want to hear.
Nobody's going to give you that answer because you're the only one who fucking cares about it.
I will proceed until I get the answer.
You're fighting these wars with yourself, and it takes up oxygen.
I will get that answer.
Anyway, back on the piece, but let's listen.
I will hear it.
I will give you
hell or high water.
I will give you time on this channel to argue with the past. It is not now.
It went out of their way in this episode to explicitly not show the. What is it?
Well, they showed the other thing.
Yeah, but we got this episode is a lot more.
Well,
I don't know. That's really Ray. No. I mean, it doesn't have an active orgy in it, but. Yeah, Ray, once in a while, Ray he takes the gloves off.
I've had an entire comic book universe for 8 decades that does the same damn thing. So what? I don't get the point here. Do you guys want Sesame Street? Do you want us all these grown men in their 30s and 40s and 50s to be watching Sesame Street consistently? No.
C is for cooking. That's good enough for me.
Yeah. That's what Sesame Street, guys. That's
the WWE dumbs people down and stuff. Their product at the moment thinks everybody's stupid.
You do a shitty job of articulating your point, Forth. You generally don't have a point. You generally don't have a point. You do a shitty job. If you were a teacher, every fucking kid in your class would fail.
Well, in my opinion, parents are hypocrites. They get upset about Peacemaker, but they allow their kids to play a hypersexualized game like Grand Theft Auto that allows you to strip clubs and
Yeah,
porn
but see, it's not
studios.
my job is to tell a parent whether they're a hypocrite or not. That's their fucking kids. I'm not raising their kids. Nobody in these chat is raising their kids.
Well, I mean, to Anthony's point, I mean, it's like, I'll take like an old Chris Rock joke, where Chris is it was something to the effect of, it's like, yeah, raise your kids right before they rob me in 10 years.
And this episode is brought to you by Bud Light.
Probably is. Probably laid down some. I would not be surprised if Bud Light laid down some cash for product placement in this show.
He's doing a really good job with the drunk walk there.
Did we get a pre-screening of Wolverine and Deadpool?
And Vegas? Well,
I was asking William.
We did, but I was already at Comic-Con for it.
Yeah, because I remember seeing like 8-year-olds and 5-year-olds going to see Deadpool and Wolverine.
They had people at Terrifier. Those parents made that decision.
That's one. No, that is absolutely
listen. Once again, I'm not raising your kids. My dad took me to Friday the 13th.
I would call that child abuse, taking them to Terrifier.
No, not necessarily. I'm not in their household. I don't know what kind of conversations and parent rearing are being done. Like I said, people can say the same thing about my dad letting me watch stuff. I turned out fine. I haven't committed any crimes. Nobody's murdered. I knew the context of what I was watching.
Fine, though?
I'm not. I'm talking to you now from a stream and not in jail. So I mean,
no. I think Aaron and I turned out. We turned out better. Because of course that's because you're reunited through the magic of the internet.
So, how many businesses have you run for over 20 years, Brad?
Yeah. Well, how many you Hollywood directors have retweeted something you put out? Checkmate, buddy.
Oh boy, someone hit a button on a computer. That's impressive. That's your only claim to fame.
That had multiple times, many times in fact. I don't know why
they hit a button on a computer. Ooh.
Rick Flag Sr. is waiting for Peacemaker to screw up before he puts him in jail.
You interviewed a Knight of the Realm.
I interviewed who?
Sir Gary Oldman.
Oh yeah.
Sir Gary Oldman.
Did you? It was before that, but yeah, that was for his British shows. I can never. I always have to look up the name of the show every time I remember I interviewed him. I don't know why, but for some reason, like I guess we had a little hiccup with the internet with William. Anyway, I don't know why Rick Flag Sr. is waiting for Peacemaker to screw up before he puts him in jail. You'd think he'd go rogue and stage it to blame his death on something else. But yeah, he might be like orchestrating something behind the scenes. And we lost William right when the episode's only got a couple minutes left.
So, Brad, are you your own company?
What do you mean by my own company?
Like, is there? Well, I mean, you sell your work to other websites, or are you a paid writer, or are you like, hey, I will do this. This is my company, and
I mean, yeah, I guess you could put it that way. I mean, it's called freelancing, but I have multiple irons in the fire.
So there's no Brad Caro LLC or something like that?
Nope. I've had people tell me I should make myself one, but there's a lot of red tape with that. I don't know if I want to get into.
Well, it helps from being sued.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not doing anything I'm not like refurbishing houses or anything. So,
But say you wrote something that someone found, oh, you're defaming me or something like whatever, just something like that.
yeah.
And then it's to court suing you for defamation. And
Yeah, I mean, that can happen, but I don't really get into just kind of on principle. I don't really get in any gossipy kind of news either. As a subject matter to cover. I just kind of, that's not something I really. The way I kind of put it is
dude, people have sued for bad reviews.
Yeah, but there's no judge in the world that would throw that out.
What happened?
You didn't like the guy didn't like your show or your movie. It's like, yeah, and you want damages for that? Oh yeah, it's like, get out of here.
All right, I got stopped up a little bit, so I'm gonna go through the credits and see the post-credit preview.
I was asking Brad if he was a business up to himself because he has like he said, he has many irons in the fire, and he's a writer for hire. And
I've had people tell
going
me
over the benefits and stuff.
Tell me I should.
And I was more comment like, you've run a business for over 20 years.
What was that in reference to? Because I skipped out. I was pushed out by the internet. What were you guys talking about that led to that?
Oh, it was what he was asking me. I'm in an LLC. It's like, no, I'm not. I had people tell me I should do that for tax purposes and whatnot, but I haven't taken that plunge yet. I mean, maybe I will at some point.
Yeah,
well,
I
what
really
actually
don't
started
like
it, William. What actually started William was Brad saying he's better than you.
I just said I turned out better than I didn't say I am better. I said I turned out better, and it was clearly in jest.
Nah, you turned out pretty fucked up. For the truth. I don't like this character. I'm sorry. Am I the only one that this character? And I like the actor, but he's a little bit too much. Okay, are we gonna get the preview for the next episode? Yes, here we go. Troll. Right after Troll Court.
Okay. So.
Oh, Warner Bros. See, I haven't seen a Warner Bros. Television logo in a while. All right, here we go.
So he's going to be wearing the other guy's helmet now.
Yeah. More than you.
Actually, he has such an old computer, modern day viruses don't work on his old computer.
All right, so that was Peacemaker episode. I mean, it depends on how much are you investing into your writing? If your writing is your means, then it depends on how do you want to franchise it. If you're doing YouTube, do you want to make? I mean, it all depends. You have to when you're talking about going into licensing business for yourself or an LLC, you have to sit down and just ask yourself a bunch of questions about where you want to take this. How much of your revenue stream is this? How much do you want to protect that revenue stream? If something were to happen to where you could not do that occupation anymore, do you want an infrastructure set up to take care of you? An LLC will do that. I mean, depending on how, do you want to incorporate other aspects of your life, like your kung fu and your media can be merged into an asset? What are your assets? Do you have a vehicle that is an asset? Is your computer, all that, all those are things you have to sit down and itemize. And then once you get to the end of your list, that should answer the question for you, though, if that's what you're asking. If Gunn is going to adopt all the C tier.
Yeah, I can almost see him casting Adam Sandler as some D-list character nobody, even hardcore DC fans, have never heard of.
It's just be little Nicky. I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Let's
At
see.
least cast him as somebody like an Adam Sandler character people actually like.
Popeyes
You can
Antonio,
do it.
delicious.
Antonio, I'm speaking from a kid's point of view. No kid is reading labels. Yeah, you're 100% correct. But when you're talking about something like this, you know, even though my parents, and this is talking about in the 80s, so we're talking about, I actually think parents are much more restrictive and paranoid these days than they were when I was a kid. But even with the freedoms that me and the little man and me and my sister and what they allowed us to watch, there were still guardrails. There were still restrictions. He was still monitoring what we saw. He was monitoring what we watched on TV, and this was without the technology to do so. You know, we were still, when we went to the movies, you know, when we went to see slashers and shit like that, they were there with us. They saw how we responded to what we saw, and they didn't see any red flags. That was him being a parent. And that's the same standard that you would have for parenting these days. And these days, parents have way more ways to monitor these things. You know, like I said, every time you know, somebody logs on to your HBO Max account and they're a kid, there's a little thing that it sends to you. It logs them out, and it allows you. There's actually a control on some of these that allows you to kick a user out as the editor. It allows you to kick a user out if they were for some reason watching something you didn't want them to watch. But they shouldn't be, because, like I said, most of these things have a rating on it so that it excludes them from watching it. But there are things you can do. But to me personally, I don't want the content provider or the studio or whatever to be restricted from what type of tone and diversity and tone that they put out. That's the parents' job, whether their kids have access and watch that. And like I said, as a grown man, if you want to make something for 14 and below, that's fine. But if I'm buying into that universe, especially if I had a 14 or below, you know what? You want to make money off of the whole household, you have to be diverse. Not everything is going to be for everybody. You know, it's just, and that's comic books, by the way. That's comic book. There are certain tones. They're all in the same universe, but there are certain tones of comics that you should not be selling to a child, and certain ones that an adult is going to look at and be like, "Are you kidding me? Are you treating me like a kid?" No. Here, walk over to this Black Label section here, and let's you know. But it's all within the same roof. It's all within the same story. You just have to have the discipline and the discretion. That's all. But I don't think it's parents being necessarily being a hypocrite, because in order to say that, I'm not in that parent's household. I don't know the conversations that they're having with their kids. I don't know the guardrails that they set up. I don't know the disciplines.
And
I don't know that kid.
Also, the kids learning how to say, "Are you 18 years or older?" Click yes.
Yeah, but they still have there's code you have to have in there. You can't. Yeah, if you're a user, you're restricted to certain things. I know I have it on my HBO Max. I know I'd have it on my Disney Plus.
So, I wonder if Gunn can write something wholesome and sincere.
Doesn't have
I mean,
to.
some would argue, he did that with Superman.
But like I said, it's just because Superman was a certain tone, that's, to me, that's a benefit. I don't want the rest of the DC to be Superman's tone. I'm done if that's the case. I'm glad that we're going to have things like Lanterns. I'm glad we have things like Peacemaker. I'm glad we have things like Paradise Lost. I want there to be, if you're going to make money off of this thing, everybody at the table's got to have something in it. Otherwise, it's you know, how are you going to maximize that dollar if you do that? So I don't have a problem with this at all. I'm surprised.
They need to make a movie or a show directed towards females.
Wonder Woman, but I don't know the script or anything else for Paradise Lost or the Woman. But you know what? Maybe that might be the one. But even still, like I said, what I don't want the DCU to turn into is a one tone fits all. We've had that. You know, Marvel was successful to that up to a point. But even the MCU has looked at their audience and been like, okay, our median audience now that started with us at our, you know, where their eyes are at our hip level, have now grown up and had kids of their own. We got to diversify it enough to keep all of them, or otherwise we're just going to stop with the one generation. And you can't really do that. So where MCU was in 2008 and where they are in 2025 is different. It's different because their audience has evolved. Their audience has grown up and now are basically bringing in another generation of people, and that they have to please, but adults have to have something in it too. You don't want to just have them stop watching your franchise because they grow up. You got to have something for them. Okay, guys. We're trying to make points here in the chat, and it's just words on the screen. So just be careful not to take what you guys are saying to each other in the chat any personally or anything, because it's words on the screen. And I know you guys like doing open panels, but it's 12:38. We're about to wrap this up. Maybe we'll have a chance this weekend. So tomorrow I will be elsewhere. I almost said Elseworld. No, I will be on this world. I'm gonna go see Toxic Avenger, and then I'm gonna get some stuff done at the store. But I probably will not on the air independently myself. Saturday we're gonna do the Wicked and the Mystery Men thing. And then on Saturday night, I haven't made the final decision on Saturday night, but this Saturday won't be the one we don't do it, because I have 2 guests confirmed from Trauma that we're going to be talking Trauma. We're going to be talking Toxic Avenger. We are going to be celebrating Trauma for a good hour in that section. And then we're going to go over some comic book stuff. Then we're going to go over some musical stuff. But I'm going to plan this show out, and I'm adding breaks to the show, commercial breaks to the show, so that we don't go over. When I'm looking at the Saturday night over that, a lot of the times I have topics, and I didn't mean to spend as much time on one as I did on the other. So I
thought you were going to do the thing on Friday. The Wicked.
What?
I thought you were going to do the thing on Friday, the Wicked thing.
Not going to happen at time. Not gonna unless we do it later on in the evening, and then I'm about to be on another stream at that particular time, because that's 2 movies. That's about what 2-hour movies. That's about that's a 4-hour block. So yeah, I'm probably gonna. I have to do, even though I do not like doing streams on Saturday afternoon. I have to, because of what the time is.
Well,
and then the other one, Bring Her Back, we can do on Monday.
Well, it's worth it for the return of the
no, one of them's a fucking trash movie, and the other one's one I haven't seen.
I folk give you if you folk.
Like I said, we're not going to smear the show in shit with Mystery Men.
Or we're going to smear it in solid gold.
Like I said, your brain works differently. The stuff you don't like, the stuff you don't like, and the stuff that you like is
scary movie. Yes, it's terrible.
If Blade happened that way, it should be in Elseworlds. Well, Elseworlds is DC. Elseworlds is DC, and Marvel does not like. To be honest with you, like I said, the difference between, I always say, is Marvel, they use a multiverse story as a means to an end, whereas DC, it's a discipline. It is when DC is running right, it's always there. So if Blade would not be a consistent Elseworlds. They would always, their goal, Marvel's goal is always to make a sacred timeline. They will use these other universes for a while until it doesn't suit their needs. So you wouldn't have a consistent universe. But now Blade, like I said, the Blade, you should see Blade in any one of these next few movies. And you see him, to be honest with you, if it were me, alongside Doctor Strange. And you should have Wesley Snipes' Blade in there, and you should have Mahershala Ali's Blade in there. Wesley Snipes' Blade should literally no shit die in the arms of Mahershala Ali's Blade, or dissipate as that timeline, because all these characters are going to die. They're either going to get died, they're going to get unalive or killed, or they're going to get retconned into different characters. You already know who's going to be doing Blade. Like, there's characters like Wolverine. That's going to be interesting, because I don't think Hugh Jackman wants to do it anymore, and it's not consistent with the type of story that you might be telling for an entirely new generation. So I see all these old generation characters in there, but I also see them either getting wiped out, or when they have the sacred timeline created, they are basically made into compositely new characters, different histories. So, but Blade can be there now. Blade can be there until they do that. And like I said, but he would not or should not carry over into the new universe with Mahershala Ali being that. So, and then once you do the sacred timeline, then you do Blade as a solo movie. That's how I do it. So many of you watching right now, please like, subscribe. Come over to the mothership. Damn it. Hold on. Let me make these two disappear. There you go. YouTube.com/at the Sci-Fi Center. Thank you for watching on Twitter, X, the word, whatever you want to call it. But the foundation of our channel is YouTube. So yeah, if you can go ahead and like, subscribe, come on over there. Yes. The theater I'm going to does not have the popcorn bucket, but the one another buddy of mine is going to, they have plenty. He's going to pick me up 2 of them, and I hope they have them on the show on Saturday night when we do the Toxic convention. I never promised.
Where are you gonna go see it at?
I'm probably gonna go see it at the Boulevard.
Yeah, that's one of the better theaters here.
Yeah, and I love, and like I said, I love the staff. By the way, I'll pimp Boulevard Galaxy Theaters, Boulevard Mall on Maryland Parkway. Nathan, Kat, Kate, all the people, the staff that works there every time. Like I said, there are plenty of places, retail places you walk in, and you're just another face. You're just another person. They do their job, but you don't feel special. I feel special when I walk in there. They obviously remember my name. They treat me good. The people at the concession stand, and what I like about that theater is the people there have been there a while. They've moved up, and they've stuck. Usually a movie theater job is a job you could do for some extra bucks and you move on. But they've created a staff there, which is kind of cool. And they remodeled their theaters. Their theaters are nice, man. Their theaters are nice. So I will be seeing.
That's why I go into AMC down the road, man. That's just terrible compared to Galaxy.
Yeah, and that one doesn't have the. Does that one have recliners?
Nope.
Oh yeah. Hey, listen, guys, theater owners, if you're watching, every theater owner in the universe, every one of you, listen. If you don't have one, there's 2 things you gotta have. You gotta have recliners, man. You gotta have recliners, and you gotta have advanced seating. You have to have. I don't know if there's any theaters that don't have it anymore. I know that I've heard there are some, but if I can't pick my seat in advance before I head over to your theater, I'm not heading to your theater. It's just because remember the old days where you had to rush in there and like get the person, you get the popcorn. I'm going to go get us the best seat, and I'm going to put a hat here and a sweater here and some sunglasses on all these seats so that nobody don't have to do that shit anymore. Just click the little button, click on the thing, and then you sit M1. That's where you want to sit. That's where you want to sit, and that's it. There are theaters I've heard of that still do it the old school way. I can't do it. And if I go into your theater, I've been to one recently where I was looking for the button to lean back and it wasn't there, and that was an uncomfortable 2 hours. It's time for an upgrade, guys. Yeah, I know a lot of people don't want to do it now because it decreases the size of your cinema. It takes away seats. But shit, man. Some of these movies are long. I need to kick back with my giant pretzels. So yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping up. Like I said, I got a buddy who's supposed to go see it tonight, or is going to see it tomorrow. One of the two. And I asked him to grab me one. Because I do want that one. I want to have it because like I said, it's Trauma. It's not Trauma, it's Cineverse, but it's Trauma. It's a Trauma character, and I want to support them any way I can. Like I said, I want people to start watching Trauma. I want people. We're gonna have a huge promo for the app on Saturday. It's free for the first month, so I want everybody who's watching to subscribe to that app on Sunday night. In fact, I'm gonna do some giveaways.
Speaking of not safe for work, Trauma.
Yeah, it's not. It's not safe for anywhere. Man, it's fun and it's art. Oldest independent. I mean, like I said, and still making movies the same way they've been making them. And now we have Toxic Avenger, the signature character.
Did they license it out, or what happened with that? If it's not Trauma making that movie,
they licensed the character out. So they licensed the character out to make their movie because Toxic Avenger belongs. It's always going to belong to Trauma, but they licensed it out to make this type of budget of a movie. They're like $40 million to make this movie, which is like I said, that's like you can make like 40,000 Trauma movies, and what they make on that.
Yeah, that's about 40 Trauma movies.
Yeah. I want Justice League Dark to be. I think we're a long ways from Justice League Dark, but when they do it, I think if it needs an R rating, here's what when it comes to ratings. I always say let the story take you where you want to go and then assess the rating. Because otherwise you might soften things and cut things down. Tell your story, and if it ends up being R or MA, then that's fine. But yeah, Justice League Dark, I think we're a ways away from Justice League Dark, but when it happens, I would be a hard to see them not doing that. I don't remember this. Listen, dude, you're not like, you don't have to like, twist my arm to watch one of the great crime movies ever. I just don't know if we can do it this weekend because we got a lot going on this weekend, and Heat's a long movie. And Heat's not one of those movies I want to do like I have to do sometimes on a Saturday where I have to leave somebody and come back, leave. Heat's one of those movies I want to actually sit and enjoy. So let's pick a day. Happy birthday, by the way. Thank you. Not everybody gets a next birthday. Let's work something out. I don't mind watching Heat. It's not like you tell me to watch a garbage movie. You tell me to watch one of the best fucking movies ever made in Michael Mann's signature performance beyond besides Manhunter. That's another one we really need to do. Manhunter is, man, I mean, it's beyond words great. So let's figure something like that. But like I said, I don't know if I'm able to do it. Saturday's gonna be tough. People complain Marvel don't do R-rated stuff, but when DC does it or Gunn does it, everybody loses their mind. But see, even Marvel, people look at Marvel and they're fixated on a certain era of Marvel. Marvel has adjusted. That there are things that Marvel is doing in 2020s that they were not doing in 2008 in the mid 2000s. They have adjusted. They reassessed their audience and they've made content for that audience. DC is going to do the same thing. But once again, I want what needs to be shattered and destroyed is that it is a universal tone. If you have a universal tone for your movies, that means your audience is stagnant. Your audience has not evolved. That means the same 10-year-old in 2008, you're still feeding him the same baby food at 25. You don't want to do that. You're saying your audience hasn't evolved. And with DC, where James Gunn is starting at is that he knows that the audience, even though this is his new universe, the audience has evolved along with all these other things. You got to have respect for your audience and the other quadrants that, if you want to make that money. Otherwise, you're just going to do kid shit. I'm not watching. I can take Superman to a certain extent, but I don't want that tone for Lanterns. We're not getting that. I don't want that tone for Swamp. I don't want that tone for everything else. And if you got to go R, that's fine. And guess what? If Green Lantern ends up being TVMA, I don't know that's the case, but just say if for instance, and guess what? So if Jon Stewart shows up in a Superman movie, doesn't mean his show can't be TVMA. I don't see that as a barrier. And once again, you may have a parent. Believe it or not, you're gonna have some parent that is okay with having their kid watch Peacemaker. That's up to them. That's up to them. Yeah, Antonio, I'll get with you. We'll do it. All right. No, the parent is between all that, son off. The parent is between all that. And it being a follow-up to Peacemaker, there are going to be other follow-ups to Superman that will line up just fine with Superman that you don't need Peacemaker for. Or it can be reintroduced in other elements. There's a lot of ways to tell the story. It's literally a barrel. It's a radioactive barrel with ooze coming out of it. Kind of cool. Yeah, Boulevard Mall is an underrated mall. Malls in general. I mean, I wish it was like the old days where the malls are. Remember when I don't know how old you guys are, but malls used to be where you went. Let's see. That's life, dude. That's comic books. That's comic books. Kids come into my store with their parents and their family to buy comic books. I sell them comic books appropriate for their age. I sell their parents comic books in that same exact universe. I sell their parents things that, don't insult their intelligence as grown people. That's comic books. That's life. I don't think that's uncommon or weird. I think that's good business, to be honest with you. You're like I said, but there's a parent there that is the discretionary person that's going to allow. There will be other things in the DCU that will line up with a family-friendly audience that, it'll be fine. I don't think there's an issue. Listen, that is not a decision for me. That is a decision for mom and dad to take a look at it and decide. Because you know what? Here's the thing that I think people are dismissing. Nobody knows their child better than the parents. Us outsiders in a chat or on a screen, we don't know that child better than the parent. Just like my mom knew me better than anybody outside influence knew me. They knew what was suitable for me. It's going to be different for every parent. Every parent is going to have a different connection with their kid, and that's who needs to make the final decision. Oh yeah, seat warmers, and that I don't like that D-box shit though. That where you just see this chicken, man. You can keep all that. I did that. I did Top Gun. I did Top Gun in that, and I'm like, I'm never doing this again. Never doing this again. For a person who sells comics, do you think the characters like Booster Gold, Peacemaker, and Deadpool are a result of comic authority trying to control? I don't get your question. There was no comic books authority when those comics came out. I don't think there was, and even if it's so, it was in its waning days. No, because I think by the time, if I'm not correct, the comic book authority had been dissolved by it was a joke to begin with, by the way, and there were so many ways around it. I mean that's where you had mature readers and all these other off-brand publishers that just there were so many ways around the comic. We one of these days, I promise, we'll do a stream on what an absolute joke the comics book was. Let's see. Yes, I have. That was his first movie. It was the first movie. I believe that's his first movie. Man, it's not the greatest Michael Mann movie, but you can see where he was going. You could see where he was going with that, and you could see, the lineage of every movie he would do after. No, what do you? That wasn't the question. Once again, I answered your question. It's not up to me. It's not up to you. That's like me telling you when you were raising your kids, what's okay for them to be watching. That's not up to me. Do I think it's appropriate? No. My fucking opinion is fucking irrelevant. It's irrelevant. They're not my kids watching it. Now, if you wanted to ask me that if I have kids, and by the time they were old enough to be watching things like this, and I have learned and I've watched that kid grow up, I know that kid's personality, then that's a different question. But it's not relevant. It's not up to me. Whether I'm okay with it is irrelevant. So the question is not really a relevant question because you're telling me to determine what is suitable for someone else's kids that I'm not raising. That's their job. All right, let's see. No, I'm not. I time out people who say harassing stuff. I don't time out people for, let's say, I have a different opinion. We timed out a guy the other day because he's basically a stalker and has this show has nothing to do with his grievances with me. But a difference of opinion. No, like I said, all I'm saying, it comes down to parenting. It comes down, I think parents who know their kid better than me should make decisions on what their kids see. My opinion is not relevant of that. Now, as far as like there are obviously, now we got 81 people. Wow, thanks guys. There's obviously certain things that might go above pale. But once again, where there aren't parenting guidelines, there are laws. So,
and every kid has snuck around that parent's law. I know I did, but that's just the way things are.
Yeah. And like I said, back when we were kids, it was fucking easy. Just wait till the parents weren't there. Now, like I said, I can't get in. If I had a kid, I can lock him out of certain things. He can only have a certain amount of account. And even if I can either give them a kid's account or I can go to their account with my code that controls their account that they don't have, and they have to have a passcode to watch certain things. And if I don't want, and you can actually, I'm pretty sure you can actually list certain shows that you don't even want to show up on their list that they can't even see. So no, I'm not going to time somebody out of a different see. He just, dude, that coffee scene where they're sitting and it's Al Pacino and Robert De Niro and they're giving their stories to each other. It's an all-time scene, man.
Another good type of movie like that would be Snatch. I love that movie.
I tried to. Guy Ritchie's hit or miss with me. He's hit with a lot of people 100%. I know people that love because we promoted pretty much every one of his movies. And I've seen people, you know, as soon as I post something about it, they're like, they want like 7, 8 tickets. I'm like, here you go. He's just a different flavor for me, but it is different. Yeah, it is different because, like I said, it's words on the screen. That's why I don't really go crazy as far as that goes. And I'm not timing people out for a difference of opinion. Like I said, I just think we're getting into a gray area. I just think we're getting, like I said, there are limits, by the way, to any of that. There are laws of which, like, there are certain things nobody can do without you get arrested for some things. But there are certain things that are within the purview of a parent. You know, that I mean, like I said, I you know, we want parents to parent their kids. Jerry Bruckheimer is 81. Damn. Okay, let's see. Voice has difficulty. No, I'm not. I'm just not in. I'm just not one of those guys who's going to do that. I mean, I'm not saying you guys don't have a valid point. I'm just answering your question and the best one that from my upbringing, and I just think that no matter what era we're in, parents have to be parents. You know, and they're going to be the main things. Like I said, if my dad could do it decades ago with me with no technology, then these parents could do it now, and their decision making are going to be based, like I said. I can't tell Brad to keep something away from his kids. Brad doesn't have, just hypothetically speaking, if Brad has a 10, 12, 13-year-old, Brad has been with those kids their entire lives. He knows their mentality. He knows everything about those kids. He knows what those kids are ready for and what they can take, their maturity, all kinds of stuff that I'm never going to know. So I'm going to leave that up to Brad, you know? Just make them separate. Gonna stop. Jesus Christ. We found a way to get that in there. You need to keep Brad still from some adult movies. All right. Well, there you go. Thank you for the 76 that are watching right now across all of our platforms, including some on Twitch. We'll see you for a while on Saturday. Like I said, we'll have 2 things going on Saturday. We'll have Wicked and Mystery Men. And later on that evening, we're going to, you know, listen, Brad will have fun with that. And we'll get to see Brad make a bull out of himself, which will be fun.
So what time? About 3 o'clock?
Probably going to be 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because that'll allow me to, I'm going to work on Saturday's show, like starting tonight. So I don't have to, because it's not like some of these shows where a lot of it's coming to me throughout the day. I know exactly what Saturday's show is going to consist of. So I'll be a lot ready for it. And I'll have the thumbnail and everything ready for that. So, okay.
And thank you, Aaron. Me and Larry said thank you for that's our Wicked is our thank you to you.
No, thank you.
It's the guilt for all the Aussie jokes. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just defending DC as a longtime fan who's had to here going back to Batman Returns parents culture. Well, you have like I said, you got a bigger problem with Batman because of the perception that the cartoon put on it. You know, that's a bigger problem because those people who watch those cartoons grew up into adults that hold that standard for Batman, and where you have a guy like me who grew up reading Batman while he threw people off of roofs and said, "Get your own fucking ambulance." That's my Batman, you know. So we're gonna have a conflict there. So, all right, guys, and that is it. Everybody say bye.
Bye.
See you guys.
Hasta la pasta.
All right, see you later.